Alright guys, for today's lecture, we're going to do an assignment, the first major paper assignment. I'll talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to grade this, but mostly I'm going to give you a pretty solid writing prompt. Normally in my literature classes, I let students write about whatever they want as long as they talk about, literary things. I'm not going to do that this time because in an online class, one of the things that I found is that students really want specific direction on what to say. And I think that that's going to help you guys out in the long run rather than loading a whole bunch of stuff right here at the very get-go and making you go out and find a topic to discuss. Maybe later we'll do a little bit more of an open-ended paper. This one's going to be pretty legit. We have talked about the Puritan era with Wigglesworth and Dawn of the Hell Babies. We talked about Jonathan Edwards' Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. We have now moved into Thomas Paine, The American Crisis, and some of the political writing that happened in the Revolution. And we also are looking at Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. Tomorrow I will put up a lecture about those in very specific terms, and I'll look at the discussion questions and put some points in the book for you. Your first assignment is going to be let's say a 4-page paper, double-spaced. I'm going to open a Dropbox or a submission area for it, and I'll grade those. The topic is this. My primary approach so far has been historical, in that I am looking at the religious and the political roots of American lit. Sleepy Hollow is going to be the first example of an actual story. And that will give us a lot of insight into the growth of American literature, because Irving isn't necessarily looking to prove a political point or to save your soul. He's looking to tell a story that people would enjoy. That's a big, big shift. Now, what I want to do is I want to ask you guys to buck this trend. And instead of looking in the far past for literature, I want you to leap into the future. I want you to write me 4 pages. And this is going to be challenging, but this is American Lit. It's higher level class, so I want you to be challenged. I want you to tell me what American literature is now. What makes literature American? Now, here's the thing. When we talk about literature in the common era, where we are right now in what I would call the polemic, you can talk about a lot of things that they didn't have back in the Puritanic and the colonial era. You can talk about films. You can talk about music. We will talk about poetry in this class eventually. You can talk about novels. You can talk about TV shows. All of these things utilize narrative. Poetry, it's funny because, music is an iteration of poetry. So now it's going to be difficult to fill up 4 pages with this because you're going to have to really stretch and really think about it. But the question is, what is American literature? What does it discuss? What are its goals? How can you recognize it? That is a really open-ended question. But I want to see what you guys come up with. Give me some examples. What is a quintessentially American film? What is a quintessentially American song? What is a quintessentially American book? And explain why. You should kind of start to see how you could fill up multiple pages from this. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I'll have another lecture ready for you tomorrow. I look forward to seeing your writing. The goal is 4 pages. For the first submission, feel free to give me 2. And then what I can do is give you some advice on how to get the other to complete it. The point value for this first paper is going to be 12. Virtually no one is going to get 12 points. It's going to be really hard for most of you to even achieve a 6. Because I very much value revision. You're going to have to go back and you're going to have to fix things. So I'm going to give you very structured advice. I'll either write up comments for you, or I will send you a recording of myself telling you what to do, depending on what's easier. So that's the first assignment. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to the lecture tomorrow.